everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am joined today by Mr. Ryan O'Hara, VP of Growth and Marketing at LeadIQ, and we're going to be talking about how to create a high-effort prospecting campaigns that get real results and you know, from afar. So Ryan, hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am joined today by Mr. Ryan O'Hara, VP of Growth and Marketing at LeadIQ, and we're going to be talking about how to create a high-effort prospecting campaigns that get real results and you know, from afar. So Ryan, thank you for joining us and sharing your wisdom.
All right, everyone that's listening, two things. This will be recorded, so if you want to share this with your boss and say, I hate this guy, you can do that. Second thing, if you have questions in chat, I'm going to be full screen, so David's going to man chat for me and be my my right-hand man on this stuff. Want to tell you guys really quick who I am and stuff. I'm Ryan O'Hara, VP of Growth and Marketing at LeadIQ. I was a BDR, and I worked my way up into getting into a marketing position, and then climbed my way up into a VP position as a marketer. And I work at LeadIQ, and we're here basically to help people with eliminating low-value activities when they prospect, so they can focus on high-value activities like writing really good things that we're going to go over today, and good emails and calls and social and stuff. We'll go into that in a second. So I want to talk about the evolution of prospecting first. So a lot of you that probably prospect today, if you're going to hear this, this isn't an orthodox talk. It's not going to be heavy on like, oh, hey, write these emails and do this. Like, it's going to be a little bit more unusual, but that's good. And I'm hoping that I can get you guys like kind of understanding this stuff. So to start with, the evolution of prospecting, one of the problems that we have as a society is we always have a tendency to look back at how people did stuff. Go back to 1938, right? In the old day, I don't know why I picked 1938, but back in 1938, they would do like face-to-face sales and stuff. They would do door-to-door. And when you do door-to-door sales, you would go up to someone's house and all you would see is what is in their driveway. You'd see their house, you'd know the neighborhood and the block that they're on, but you'd go and knock on a door. And the way that they scaled door-to-door selling is they made scripts where you could do it, where you'd go and use like impulse buying decisions to get people to buy stuff. And then what happened was in 1938, this Chicago Tribune, a newspaper company, posted the first ever cold calling full-time job, where they wanted to have someone cold call people that own telephones and sell advertising space in the Chicago Tribune. And what's crazy about that is, what do you think they did? Well, before they had telephones, they would just have people that would go solicit businesses and go door to door. The Chicago Tribune just had these same reps go and knock on houses and call people, because the only people that had phones in the 30 were rich. So like they would just call these people and sell advertising space, and they'd use the same phone script that door to door had. 1978, the first cold email was sent. And by the way, it was kind of a sales email. It was someone selling a seminar, and they sent it to all the people on the ARPANET. And you know what? They sent a template. They went out to everybody, and it was so new because people didn't get email that often that it probably had a crazy open rate. Like I'm sure it was probably 100% or something. And then you go flash forward, cold email, everyone started adopting it. We all know this stuff. Go to LinkedIn when they started InMail and making their sales platform in 2009 and stuff, and you flash forward a little bit. What did people do on LinkedIn? Oh, they just started sending the same scripts that they were sending on cold email, which was originally sending scripts that came from cold calling, which was sending scripts from door to door. And for over 83 years, basically have been doing the same thing, where like we look at how we used an old platform and use the new platform for the same thing. And what's ended up happening is, these are some stats. The first one on the left is from HubSpot. The second one's from Salesforce. Outbound prospecting is actually the least effective it's ever been right now. The average cold email response rate is less than 1%, and the average cold call connect rate is less than 3%. So if I call 100 people and written through a list of people that I dialed, I'm only going to end up talking to 3 people. How many of those are actually positive conversations? I'm not telling you that sounds dead. There's actually still hope, because we've talked with thousands of customers at LeadIQ and like picked their brain and asked them how they're doing stuff. And we actually have done a lot of experimenting with different cool prospecting things here on things that don't scale. This is actually, I put reply rate because I copied and pasted poorly. This is actually, in Q2 of 2019, I did prospecting for 3 months while I was doing my marketing job. I didn't do a lot of calling because I was doing my marketing stuff. I could do email my own time. Anyway, what I was going to say is, hey, David, could you mute maybe? Is that cool? Sorry. Anyway, on the open rates, we had an 84% open rate on these emails and a 47.2% reply rate. And you're probably thinking like, that's bullshit. That's like crazy stuff. But like, this is literally doing a lot of these non-scalable activities that you can do. So what I want to kind of challenge you and think about today is, what if outbound prospecting was restarted today and we didn't look at what people did in the past? And so to start with, I'm going to actually talk about this. 2 months ago, this is kind of a story. We're working up market and finding some accounts to break in doing stuff. And we had an SDR, Katie, who was actually having a lot of trouble with getting into LogMeIn. We were trying to break into this account. We couldn't get our emails sent into them. They were getting filtered and spam and stuff. And we had this idea of, let me get my screen share off for a second. I'm going to play a video for you guys. But we basically made a video for LogMeIn and posted on social to try and get them in. Let's play it.
The following is an addition tape produced by LeadIQ in a sad attempt to prospect LogMeIn's sales team. The branding, pitch, and video were strictly made without LogMeIn's notice, consent, or awareness. LeadIQ apologizes in advance for what you're about to see. LogMeIn did not ask us to make this, but we don't blame them.
Hi, I'm Ryan O'Hara, unofficial spokesperson for LogMeIn. Now listen, sometimes you just don't know how to do things. I never learned how to ride a bike, I can't tie my shoes, and I certainly don't know how to read. But the good news is, there are companies out there that care about helping people and walking through things remotely. And that's one of my favorite parts about using LogMeIn. LogMeIn will not only walk you through all your IT issues by allowing IT teams to do remote access and helping you finish things and do things together to collaborate. They also allow you to do video conferencing, talk with people for webinar parties, and happy hours, and all those things that I wish I could be invited to, but I never learned how to read them. So if you're someone that wants to get better and improve your life, you should use LogMeIn. LogMeIn. I'm in.
Following the filming of this audition, Ryan O'Hara was removed from the premises and barred from ever auditioning again.
So, the reason I showed this video is we actually put this on social media with the attempt to try and get LogMeIn's attention. And yeah, did it scale? No. I mean, could I go do this over and over and over again? A lot of you want to do these cool unorthodox things when you prospect. This video I ended up putting out on social and ended up getting 158 engagements, 70 comments. But the most important thing is it got their attention, and we ended up getting a response. We had the AVP of sales at me and say, well played, well played. Guess what we did afterward? We had Katie, who was our SDR working on the account, cold call and cold email Abe. We had the Chief Innovation Officer at SVP at LogMeIn respond and comment. And had 22 like and engage. Katie ended up prospecting into them. We had people that are friends of ours that like LeadIQ and like our company, are friends of our company, like Jake Houston, Hudson. Sorry, I said his name wrong. Hudson. He actually tagged people he knew at LogMeIn for us to get people to see it. And at the end of the day, when I actually looked at the account on LinkedIn, I had well over 300 people from LogMeIn look at the video. I could see it because LinkedIn will tell you if you click on the views, like what company are people viewing your stuff from. And we had another person from LogMeIn also talk about liking this and liking what our approach. This is the future of prospecting. I know people talk about artificial intelligence and like scripting stuff and sending stuff, but machines are never going to be able to replace creativity and human beings doing stuff that can scale. Now, if you can automate the things that are bottlenecking you from doing this, and that's part of what my company does, you're going to be able to free up time to do things like this and think about this. Now, you're probably saying, I could never do this. I would never send this to prospect. It won't scale. I'm never going to hit quota. I have activity goals. Activity goals in a lot of ways could be garbage if you do this approach. So what people don't see, what people don't see is any prospecting activity that takes more than 15 minutes is actually sometimes worth it if you could make it so that your response is high enough. So like, I know it sounds insane, but you need to penetrate an account. I think I've seen studies that say the average account, you need to reach out to 12 different people now to actually hear back from someone. And especially if you're selling to the enterprise, like a big company like a LogMeIn. The goal when you do high effort prospecting, and what we're defining is more than 15 minutes it takes for something, is to get a response and worry about qualifying later. The reason is because you can qualify once you get someone to engage. If someone watches a video, I can call them. If they respond to an email, I can call them or reply to their email. If they respond on social, agent social, it gives me a trigger to call them. And guess what my cold call is? Hey, I saw you watch my LogMeIn video that I made for you guys. What'd you think of it? Did I make a jackass of myself? Yeah, well, the reason I wanted to contact you is I think we could help you with optimizing your sales team, making it faster so you don't have to do these low-level activities. Is that someone else we should be talking with? Right there, I have something in the conversation that I'm having on the cold call that's way more unique and way better for a perspective of that buyer that's going through it. And one of the things you always hear is like, you'll hear these reps that say like, I did something cool with this account and it took me 20 minutes, still got no response. What the fuck? You know, like they think through this process. The problem is, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make with these high effort prospecting things, and one of the things that doesn't scale, is we do one-offs. Don't do one-offs. That's the first thing that I want to talk about with this. You're building a process to do something that's high effort. The best way to scale it and figure out and operationalize it and find out if it works is to do more than one thing at the same time. So try the same tactic or idea on multiple prospects. The concept of that log me in video was I was going to try out to be their spokesperson and fail. And I just wrote it really quick. Honestly, you know what we did? We just recorded the camera and I did a bunch of fun runs where like I rambled and then we picked the best takes and that's what we ended up using for a video. Why are one-offs bad? So one of the things is if you try something unorthodox, but you only try it with one account, you're limited your open rate and your callback rate. And that's a huge mistake because you could write the greatest email in the world, and at the end of the day, the highest open rate you're going to get is going to be around 60 to 80%. Maybe you'll get 90 if you write a really compelling subject. But like, you're limiting yourself if you do that, especially video, because video is only going to be seen if they read the email in a lot of ways. The other thing is if you do a one-off, it's inefficient. If I find it, log me in, look for the right prospect, write a video, set up the camera, record, write the email, send it, cold the follow-up after they read it or look at it. If they don't look at it, follow it, write another follow-up. That's so clunky, as opposed to doing an assembly line of pick 10 accounts. Well, we're going to go into this in a second, so I'll show you that in a second. The other thing is the sample size is too small. Today, I'm going to show you this sample size that's a lot larger and how it's been able to work. And the last part is follow-up's really difficult. If you're doing follow-up for one thing and you have to go look back at what you did before, it's easier if you just know what you did with each of these accounts at the same time. And you can get through it a lot faster and optimize it. So don't be a coward. Go all out and just try it. Like, get your team to not just do one. Don't be like, oh yeah, you can try something cool. Just don't spend all day on it. No, get rid of that. Spend all day on it. That's what I'm telling you. So like, here's the thing that you guys don't see. What no one saw, because this is the only video we put on LinkedIn, is we actually wrote and uploaded 8 videos that we did this for. And I blocked out the other companies. If you squint really tightly, you can probably see them, you jerks. I see you, just get out of here. But anyway, we actually filmed, wrote, and uploaded all these videos in 4 hours. We ended up having 6 out of 9 engage with us. It's too soon because we did this 2 months ago, so some stuff's still in pipeline. But like, that's what I'm getting at here is like, think about this perspective. You do more than one thing. And the assembly line works. I'll give you another example that's way easier. You probably can't do this in COVID, but you can do this year later on in another world with COVID. Example number 1 is the String Quartet. Some of you have probably heard this campaign because Stu Hyde about it in one of his books. We actually hired a String Quartet on Craigslist. And what I did is I built a prospect list of people I wanted to break into and target. I looked and found out what music they liked. So my qualifier was I found all these prospects and I just go look and see like on Facebook what bands they liked. And I tried to find prospects that worked at companies that were in sales leadership who also like classic rock. Knowing, like, if I saw they liked Led Zeppelin or The Who, I was like, oh, that's safe. The biggest reason is because the String Quartet I found only played classic rock songs. But that's cool. No one know that. That's the point. So you want to pull in your cast for your campaign. I put an ad on Craigslist that just said, looking for String Quartet. And I found 4 people that they assembled and they only did classic rock songs. It really wasn't that expensive. Like, it cost me, I think, $400 for them to do it. Each person made $100. And they basically gave me a couple hours of filming and I had to buy them dinner. I just got them pizzas. The pizzas were okay, 3 out of 4 stars. But here's what we ended up doing for a setup. We ended up having us with a webcam. I don't want to show the video because I don't want to slow down the patient. I'll show these afterward if you message me and stuff. But we had a rep talk to the camera on a webcam, carry a laptop. They'd walk to the back room and open it. We had a really weird, musty basement back in the day when we did this. But the person would basically say, hey, blah, blah, something personal at them. They'd say, we obviously really want to impress you and get you to like us. We free up a lot of prospect activity. I thought it'd be cool to serenade you with a song. Let me present the Lead IQ String Quartet. And then we flicked on a light. He puts down the webcam. And then the String Quartet would play a rock song. We had them play like The Who. They played some Zeppelin. They played a bunch of different songs. And then the CTA was to just reply back. In this case, it was John Mazza. And just at the end, we threw something on there. Now, here's the thing. Mazza didn't go make this video, then send it. And I didn't go make this video and send it when I did it too. Instead, We made many videos because I'm paying the string quartet to be there for 4 hours. I want to get as many videos done as possible and worry about sending the emails after. This was accidentally genius because what ended up happening is I discovered that if you can do these campaigns that are higher effort, if you do many of them in bulk instead and get way more measurable results. So we don't send it yet when you do your effort. So we ended up doing 15 different target accounts that we targeted when we did this. And each account, we went after 3 to 5 prospects at them as a group. And then the first touch, here's how you set up the sequence. We didn't actually use sequencing back then, so like the data on it was different. But first touch, classy video. Hey guys, we really liked company name. I know the power of heat maps. Actually use them a ton at my old posted time. Thought it'd be cool to make a personal video. We help teams prospect faster by automating all the painful parts of prospecting, finding emails, and getting them into tools. What do you think? What do you think of the video? Would you guys be up for talking with me and Drew? P.S. Hopefully our serenade wasn't too creepy. Aha. So this email, I bait them to watch the video. I have a thumbnail that's there that can take them into the back room. The video, I'm addressing them and talking to them. The text is an F shape, so it fits really well. And I asked them an open-ended question. What do you think of the video? I don't ask them, what do you think of talk? I want to know what they think of the video and see if that's enough to get them to like us and make a good first impression. If they didn't respond, that's an example of a first email. That one in that case was for Drew. But if they didn't respond, the next step, we call them. If we saw that they watched, we called them immediately. Hey, I was the guy that sent the video. What'd you think? Conversation was way better at having that instead. And we did this for many prospects. And the third email would be just a simple follow-up. Hey, did you get a chance to watch the video I sent you? I know prospecting can be really tough. We're trying to make it so prospectors can focus on the creative parts of prospecting by doing the annoying parts of prospecting for you. Finding emails, checking Salesforce. You up for talking? What are your thoughts? So you can put all these people into one sequence or cadence, and then it'll be easier for you to measure the effectiveness of the high-value activity that you're doing. And the response, yes, I saw it. What makes you different from any competitors? I don't care what they aren't interested yet. I like this objection. Now I have something to talk about and engage with the contact. And the next step is look at the signature, call and qualify. It's that easy. So one sequence, cadence to measure, use a Salesforce campaign for attribution. One of those people in here that's like, I want to measure this and I'm going to put money into it. Set up a Salesforce campaign, add all your contacts to the Salesforce campaign that you're targeting for this campaign and map your sequences to that. Add prospects to the campaign, and when you're completed 15 steps, assess whether it worked or not. I say 9 to 15 is usually the amount of steps that I'll do for a follow-up. That's a typical sequence that you'll see where like response rates are high at the beginning, dip, and then go back up. In this case, we did 15 accounts. We touched 45 contacts. Some of them responded first touch, second touch. So it ranged from 1 to 15 activities. Some did, obviously. 9 accounts responded, 5 were qualified, and we ended up closing 3 of them into customers. And one customer, let me put it this way. Our average deal size makes it so that $400 I just spent on that string quartet, we made back in maybe like a couple days in some of the checks that we got from this campaign. So follow this format. This is the best way to do this. You want to answer these 4 questions when you prospect and do a high effort prospecting campaign. How is a prospect special to you? Why are you contacting them? Who are you and so what? I'm stealing the so what from John. Kudos to him. And what do you want me to do? If you follow this format when you're doing these things, it'll be easier for you to get through your videos and get in and get out really quick. You can have a structure to your cold email, your cold call, whatever channel you're using to do these activities. Here's an example of a high effort prospecting campaign that wasn't me. It was someone from Sigster. They're now owned by Terminus, but wanted to give a shout out to Matthew Moe, who's an account executive. So I put a post on LinkedIn about my dog Ruby. She's probably gonna come in the background now that I'm talking about her. But I have a Corgi Ruby and I just got her as a puppy and I did a post on LinkedIn about it. Matt saw that and wrote this email to me. He said, hey Ryan, I was doing some digging into your role as a VP of Growth and Marketing at Lead IQ. And I saw 1, you had a chat or 2 in the past with Sigster. And 2, you recently got a Corgi named Ruby. I was going to mock up an email signature for you, but thought it'd be more fun to create one for Ruby. So he posted and he actually took my dog Ruby, she's so cute, and made the signature, which is actually what Sigster does, by the way. To jog your memory, Sigster, we turned one-to-one employee emails into targeted advertising opportunities, all through the email signature space. I have some ideas about how we can impact your growth and marketing. Are you available Monday or Tuesday for a brief chat? Do you guys think I responded to this? Hell yeah, I did. And so look at this. The subject was enough to bait me open, a treat for Ruby and you. I see Ruby and I think, something about my dog? Interesting. They must know what I'm doing or they must have personalized it. No, like, use this 5 subject line link bait bullshit. Literally just a straight up subject that got me to bait and look open. Length and spacing is perfect. It's in an F shape. It fits on one smartphone screen. How am I special to you? You recently got a dog Corgi named Ruby. Why are you contacting me? You had a chat or 2 in the past at Sigster. Email signature. To jog your memory, that's the who are you. In his email signature, he explains who he is. He doesn't introduce himself in the email and waste space. To jog your memory, we turn one-to-one employee emails into targeted advertising opportunities. Simple, quick. It's not a perfect value prop. I probably would explain what that value can have. Like, we can get more people to your webinars. We can get more people to engage with LeadIQ. Like, you could have said something like that. That probably bait me a little more. But I'm already won over because you mentioned Ruby. I'm wooed. I'm knocked off the floor. And do you guys think I booked a meeting? Yeah. So, and the last thing that you want to think about is, does this content make me like the rep? If you're doing a high effort prospecting campaign, they're going to like you. And that's like really important. I know it sounds pathetic. I know you're all thinking it's pathetic. Ryan's desperate. So here's how you can get your email opened if you're trying to figure out to use email as your high effort prospecting thing. You can do social, obviously, we'll talk about in a second. You want to make your subject related to the tactic or personalization of the message. So instead of being like, you and company name, if you make a cool video or you do neat that you have around the house, we're remote right now. So like, you have all kinds of crap around your house that you could use in a video. I once did a video where I'm just holding a boombox doing the say anything thing because I have a boombox laying around my house, right? You want to make your subject vague enough to draw and open. You want to make your preview message mostly about make your first sentence of your email about the prospect first. That'll get them more likely to swipe right on the email, on the badge, on the phone and open it. And you want to bait people to your tactic in the words of your email. So like, my copy on the email is going to bait you to look at the video. So example, this is an older one that people have probably heard about, but many years ago, when I first joined LeadIQ, I grabbed my piano and I made a bunch of songs for prospects. I had 12 target accounts. I did it over the course of 2 afternoons. You can tell because if you watch all the videos, I'm wearing a baseball tee, and then another one I'm wearing a different shirt. I was wearing a blue flannel. But I was bored one day and I was like, I'm gonna make some accounts and stuff. Here's what I did. I picked my accounts in bulk. I built a sequence and I wrote lyrics and wrote the songs. Each of these things I did in bulk. So I didn't just go pick the accounts and then make a song for that one prospect, then move to the next account. That's clunky. Instead, I picked the accounts that I wanted to prospect. Then I built the sequence of what steps I wanted to take. Most of them were blank steps where I do a little bit of personalization or very little automation, just like maybe a value of something. And then the lyrics, I just did a writing session for like an hour where I cranked out songs. I used a very generic chord progression for all the different people that I made the songs for. Then I recorded myself singing and performing the songs really quickly with my webcam. No frills, no fancy camera, just a normal generic MacBook webcam. I uploaded them. Back then I used YouTube, and then I wrote the email. And I did this for each account in groups. So in one sitting, I wrote all the lyrics and the songs. In one sitting, I recorded all the videos. In one sitting, I uploaded all the videos. And then one sitting, I wrote all the emails and did the prospecting. And this is an example of what I wrote. This is for VM Turbo. They're now called Turbotronic. I think they got bought by Carbon Black, but JR was someone that was like a really important person in LeadIQ's history because we did a call with him. And after we did the call, we realized we needed to hire a sales team because it was just me kind of doing it with my CEO. This is many years ago, obviously. You can see the date, 2016. Hey, JR, I'm not a gifted musician, but I made this for you. And it's a link to my video of me singing. Lyrics in the description. Any chance we could snag some time to talk? LeadIQ is a really cool prospecting tool we're building, and I think it'd really help you guys find some new tech to talk to. What are your thoughts? My value prop wasn't great back then. We're still figuring stuff out. P.S. Hopefully you don't think this song sucks. Notice that I P.S.'d it. I had the YouTube link, and today you could use Vidyard, Loom, whatever your preferred Go video, like Wistia, Soapbox. I know it's Cloud App. There's tons of these different video providers. Whatever you prefer to use, you can do that. But back then we didn't have that. But I noticed I used the PS to bait them to watch a video. And then I sent it. This is what JR responded back with. Hey, Ryan, I'm in for a call next week, and so is my boss, adding the whole sales team. This is how you get someone's attention. Based off your lyrics to your song, I can tell you your research, my man. Calling me the best is a sure way to my heart. We ended up getting the meeting. It went great. Like, we had a really cool conversation. It doesn't matter whether it converted or not. My goal was to just get the meeting, get the opportunity, and figure that out. And I ended up doing this for these accounts. We actually booked, I took a screenshot of this because I thought it was cooler looking than showing you numbers again, but we booked 40 of them into opportunities actually, which is insane. And so, yeah, clown alert. Sorry, I didn't realize that I was going to be wearing the same shirt today. What a clown. So we made 12 target accounts. We heard back from 9, 5 turned into QSOs. That's well worth it. It took me 2 days to do that. You figure an SDR's job is to get 1 QSO a day, maybe half a QSO, depending on how low their quota is, and if they're selling the enterprise. This is totally worth it. I just made 5 QSOs doing something in 2 days instead of doing something instead of grinding through 100 people on my list. If you're using video, here's the tips I have. Longer video, you want to do shorter email or text. So if my video is longer and I'm getting stuff about my company more, don't explain in the text of your email. Use the text to bait them to watch the video. Shorter video, longer email to text. That's how you want to think about this a little bit. And if you have to call, you have to call them when they watch. So if you get an alert that's like, you watch this, that's cool. Your text needs to bait them to open. Thumbnails matter. And if you make a mistake, keep going. Don't stop. I see so many people that record a video, they stumble and then they restart and do it. So if you're wondering like, how do I come up with these ideas and stuff? Biggest thing is to consume content. And if you come up with an idea, don't apply it to prospecting, just write down ideas. I had this idea of making songs for prospects a long time ago, and I wrote it down. And then I just eventually found a way to use it. I had another idea of auditioning companies to be their spokesperson, like being at Billy Mays, but failing. I held on to that idea in a notepad for years. And then 2 months ago came up with the idea for LogMeIn and other companies, like, I'm just going to make this a prospecting video instead. Think of things that you can do that are about the prospect. You notice that? Everything, it's more about the prospect than lead IQ. I'm not talking about us all the time. You want to be an exaggerated version of yourself, and you got to get hobbies out of work. But if you're a manager listening to this and you're like, it's remote, how do I get people to do this stuff? You need to conduct a talent audit. So find everyone here that works in sales. No one grew up and said, boy, I can't wait to work in sales, right? You like accidentally stumble on it, right? I play piano. I have a dog, Finnegan, that I love. I have a bunch of corgis. I have 3, by the way. I have a moped, and I take a lot of cool scenic pictures if I'm driving around and stuff. I skateboard. That's me from weeks ago. Last week I posted a video of me skateboarding. I like filming stuff, and I like talking. These are all things that I'm into that like I can apply to my prospecting and stand out. So you want to use multiple channels too when you launch your idea. For example, you can use social, email, mail, face-to-face. Now, if you use one of these channels as your high effort prospecting thing that you're doing, shuffle your follow-up. Don't use the same channel to do the same thing. If I send you an email with a video in it, or an email with a poster, or an email with something, don't just flop over email because that didn't work before. Try a different channel when you're doing your next step. So here's an example of one that's easy to do. When I was at Dine, we did this thing where we had this guy, Brian, who grew his hair out. And I called him one day and he actually had a mullet. And I was like, it was the haircut that I called him. He's like, dude, I got a mullet right now. I'm like, Brian, expense your haircut. Let's get down here. And Brian was into photography. So we took a bunch of pictures in a snack closet of Brian looking like a dirtbag. We didn't know what we were going to do with the pictures. We saved them, just kept them in a file for a couple months. We'll use these eventually. So we took pictures and customized. After we took these pictures, a couple months went by and we got this idea to customize the text for the prospect. This is one we sent to the Kentucky Derby. We sent and said, hey, we made this ad for you. Hopefully you like it. It was just an image. And it told them to email us afterward. If they didn't respond, the next step was we customized the text for each account. That was for the Kentucky Derby. If they didn't respond, we'd call an email and for follow-up, whatever we didn't use. If they didn't respond to that, we'd print and send it. This is one we made for Blizzard, to get into Blizzard when we're selling. By the way, we're selling to IT tech people that hate salespeople. They don't want to talk to us. This one was made for the company that owns Miller Lite, Molson Coors, I think is what it is. They didn't respond, but I just like the picture. You print out the poster afterward, and then you mail it to the prospect. And then you confirm the prospects received the package and calls. And that's kind of the magic behind it. So like I'm now using mail and sending this to them, and then I follow up. And if you get a response, send the images or thing you did to the marketing team and see if they can do some ABM stuff. We ran ads at all the people we targeted for this with the same guy in it, so that if they saw the email or they saw the ads, it would make them click in and come in eventually. So Mullet Man actually became a repeatable play for us. We brought in over 12 using these images, and Brian ended up keeping his mullet for 2 years because we just kept using it for stuff and prospecting. And yeah, he's still single. He's terribly alone. So I just wanted to keep you updated on that. Another example would be you could lead with social, like I showed in the LogMeIn example. We actually did this with infomercials. So like we did this idea of making infomercials about our prospects, filming it, and then sending it to them. And it's great because you'll send something to 3 people and hear back from like 20 people from the company, or you'll see your view count on whatever video platform you're using go up, 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 and up, and up. We have some of these that have 1,600 plays because of this. We did a bunch of these. The ones that everyone saw and heard about on the internet was the Muse and Drift. The follow process for this was social, email, booked, and then we booked the meeting. And on these ones, for example, I did a post, posted the video. Jeremy Levier did a post. This one we did for Drift. You look at these engagements that we had. We had people commenting and telling Drift to like book a meeting with us. We ended up getting a response from Scott saying, "Send me your Drift link and I'll book some time." And it's always great. Like, that's how you want to think about this stuff. So if you don't want to use video, you can do other stuff. Maybe you're uncomfortable with video. I did a campaign once where I sent people, I called it the greatest movie of all time. In real life, I love the movie Point Break, the original one. I actually sent the Point Break to on DVD to a bunch of prospects. And then I emailed them and said, hey, I sent you the greatest movie of all time. What'd you think? And I ended up booking a ton of meetings with this. But the funny part is if they didn't like Point Break, they thought I was kidding. If they did like Point Break, they agreed with me and I had common ground to talk about on my discovery call with them. We actually heard back from 40 prospects doing this, which was about 30%. And all we did was just send a DVD. It wasn't we did some personalization too in the messaging. But another one that I'll give you a final proof of this to get you this idea of repeating this stuff over and over again. When I was at Dine, we also did this thing where we made this music campaign where we found 6 target accounts. We made the first 15 seconds customized, the next 15 seconds templated, and the last 15 seconds templated. And we'd send about a 90-second music video to these prospects telling them that we were ready to sell to them. And we made the videos about them. They were basically ads championing these companies. And like we did one for a bunch of accounts. All we did was we recorded a bunch of music at a recording studio, couple $100. I just used the same exact instrumentals for every song. And I had someone at our company do all the words for it. We recorded 30 seconds of customer scenes, meaning things about the customer that were ads. We edited and upload. And then we would do that. We'd launch the campaign, and we launched it on an embedded landing page with a customized note for them. And if they didn't respond after the first email, we heard back 2 of them. We did this for, I think, 7 accounts or 6 accounts, 7 accounts. If they didn't respond, we had everyone at the company, marketing supported us here, go and tag and tweet at people to check out the video with a link to the video. And this is an email I got back from the CEO of Hulu that got a kick out of the videos you post for Posters, Expedia, Hulu. Just wanted to say this email is nicely done in the name of innovation. I didn't cold email the CEO of Hulu. He saw this because it got mobilized internally at that company. And so that's what ended up happening. And he ended up forwarding it to a press list, and we ended up getting written about it in a bunch of cases. And we ended up getting 5 or 6 of them responded, and all 5 of them actually turned into customers. We got Living Social. This is a couple, like 5 or 6 years ago, so it was a bigger deal back then, or 6 or 7 years ago now. Funny or Die, Career Builder, Hulu. The only one that's back was Expedia. So you got to try this stuff. Don't just do one-offs. You got to really commit to it. Thank you. If you want to talk to us more, you have questions, come to our booth at Lead IQ. I'm going to go hang out there for a little while. Hopefully we can talk with you guys. Any questions or anything, let me know.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Dude, this is awesome, man. I feel like we need to get you on round 2 in June to just dive in, and we'll make more time, because that was like drinking from a firehouse. So thank you for sharing that. And there was a couple of questions. Mainly the chatter was like, is this relevant to my industry? Which I think you went over because you were at Dine, which is, DNS. It can't be much more technical than that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, is this account based, or can I use it for like more of a high volume thing?
I would do it. Yeah. Yeah. So I've actually tried doing non-account based. If people are listening and checking this out, generally speaking, account-based were the only ones that actually yield good results. So like if you do here's the thing, you can make a video for one prospect at an account, but you need to penetrate and reach out to 5 to 12 contacts at that account to make it worth your while in a lot of ways. The thing that I would recommend is make something where you name one person, but you also name drop the account. Now, the novelty of this is going to die if everybody starts doing this and you're thinking about creative ways to do prospecting. The part of the reason that it works is because of the vanity. If you want to really differentiate, you want to make the content tailored to the person you're individually putting in the email or the video or the call or mail, whatever thing you're doing. You can do cool stuff over calling too, by the way. It's hard for me to show that at a conference, but like we've tried experiments. There was one person I talked to at Dine that literally left voicemails where he played songs for prospects instead on the voicemail. So like people used to do this stuff too. So you want to do account based. You need to have a plan to break into that account, and it makes it easier for you to like target the company. Now, one other thing, I didn't show some videos that I'm sorry, I'm going over a little bit, David, hopefully that's a bit. Another example, this past summer, we made some personalized videos for specific prospects and put them on social, and the reception was not as good as doing it for the account. And I think it's because it makes people feel pressure to have to respond. Like if you make it if I made a video for you that was like, hey, David, I'm putting this on LinkedIn. You got to take a meeting with me and I do something really cool. All these people were tagging the prospect that we had and harassing them, and we actually felt really bad afterward. So like, if you do the social first thing, I recommend doing it for the account and letting people get tagged and stuff.
Okay. And then one other question that came in was more around how do you effectively track stuff that you do in LinkedIn? Like how do you track engagement and stuff like that in LinkedIn?
Yeah. So when we do stuff at LeadIQ today, it wasn't always like this. It got really hard to do early on, and I had to go scramble to find all the emails and stuff. We use Salesforce campaign tracking. So like any contact that we're going to do an effort, remember, we don't do one-offs. We're only doing stuff in campaigns. Any person go and prospect, you want to add them to make them a campaign member in LinkedIn, in Salesforce, and then just make sure that whatever rep's executing on it. At our company, for example, Katie did a lot of those prospecting videos I opened up with that Log Me In stuff. You want to end up tagging and adding that person to the campaign, because if you add that person to the campaign, you'll be able to attribute whether you got an opportunity or not. And then Katie just logs it using her prospecting tools. We use Outreach and SalesLoft here, obviously, because we integrate with both. But you can use those other steps. Just make sure you're logging your activities so you can track it. Any person, I don't want to plug our product. Any person that engages on that Log Me In post that's from Log Me In, we're capturing them with LeadIQ and saving them to a list too. But like, I'm not trying to plug LeadIQ. It's just one of the things that we do to fit the equation. You could do it.
Yeah, this is. It's actually a good segue because the LeadIQ booth is open. I think Ryan's going to be hanging out there. There's little tables where you can sit down and dive into some of this. And I almost want to, we're going to post the recording and like transcribe what you said, because there's so many nuggets in there. And it was just like this fire hose of information. So
I had to fly through a lot. So anyway, if anyone has questions, another thing I can do too, David, for people, I wasn't able to play videos for you. I'm going to make a playlist in our Wistia at LeadIQ that I'll give to everybody afterward. We'll email you because you're going to be like, as a sponsor, we'll get a list. If anyone wants that, I'll make a playlist that maybe you guys can all look at to show like some of the prospecting videos that we've done. Videos are a lot easier to show because they're more fun. Like it tells the whole story. If I just showed you guys like these one-off still shot email stuff that's just images and stuff, it's okay. But like it's easier to show video. I think it's more fun for that stuff.
Perfect. Well, Ryan, thank you so much, dude. That was awesome. And everybody, like I said, get over to the LeadIQ booth, stop by. Outreach is open as well, and VanillaSoft. And next up on the agenda, we got Amanda Moore going into how to become a better SDR manager remotely. She's been doing it for years. So go check that out as well. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks, everyone. See ya.